Scripture portions of the day. Day 352.
Mark 3. 1. And Yeshua again entered the synagogue, and a certain man was there, whose hand was shriveled. 2. And they were watching him, so that if he would heal him on the Sabbath, they might accuse him. 3. And he said to that man whose hand was shriveled, Stand in the center. 4. But he said also to them, Is it legal to do what is good on the Sabbath or what is evil, to save life or to destroy? But they were silent. 5. And he gazed at them in anger as he was grieved for the callousness of their hearts, and he said to that man, Stretch out your hand, and he reached out, and his hand was restored. 6. And the Pharisees went forth immediately with some of the house of Herodas, and took counsel concerning him how they might destroy him. 7. And Yeshua with his disciples went to the sea, and many people from Galilee and from Judea had gone out. 8. And great crowds came to him from Jerusalem and from Edom and from the region of Jordan, and from Tyre and from Zidon, because they had heard everything that he had done. 9. And he told his disciples that they should bring him a ship because of the crowds, lest they would throng him. 10. For he was healing many until they would be falling on him, so that they might touch him. 11. And those who had plagues from foul spirits, when they saw him, they were falling down, and they were crying out and they were saying, You are the Son of Elohim. 12. And he greatly rebuked them lest they would reveal him. 13. And he went up a mountain and he called those whom he wanted and they came to join him. 14. And he chose 12 to be with him, and to send them to preach. 15. And to be authorized to heal the sick and to cast out devils. 16. And he gave Shimeon the name Kepha. 17. And to Jacob, the son of Zebedee, and to Yohanan the brother of Jacob he assigned the name Bnei Regshe, which is Bnei Rama. 18. And Andreas and Philippus and Bartolome and Mattei and Thoma and Jacob son of Calphi and Thaddi and Shimeon the Zealot. 19. And Yehuda Iscariota, he who would betray him, and they came to the house. 20. And crowds assembled again, so that they were not going to be able to eat bread. 21. And his relatives heard and they went out to take hold of him, for they were saying, He has gone out of his mind. 22. And the scribes who had come down from Jerusalem were saying, He has Beelzebub in him, and by the ruler of devils, he casts out devils. 23. And Yeshua called them, and he said to them in parables, How is Satan able to cast out Satan? 24. For if a kingdom will be divided against itself, that kingdom will not be able to stand. 25. And if a house will be divided against itself, that house will not be able to stand. 26. And if Satan were to rise up against himself and be divided, he would not be able to stand, but it would be his end. 27. A man cannot enter the house of a mighty one and rob his valuables, unless he first binds the mighty one, and then he shall plunder his house. 28. Truly I say to you, all sins and blasphemies that the sons of men will blaspheme shall be forgiven them. 29. But there is never forgiveness to whoever will blaspheme against the Spirit of holiness, but he is condemned to eternal judgment. 30. Because they were saying, He has a foul spirit. 31. And his mother and his brothers came, standing outside, and they sent that they might call him to them. 32. But the crowd was sitting around him, and they said to him, Behold, your mother and your brothers are outside looking for you. 33. And he answered and said to them, Who is my mother and who are my brothers? 34. And he looked on those who were sitting with him and he said, Here is my mother and here are my brethren. 35. For whoever shall do the will of Elohim is my brother and my sister and my mother. Exodus 33. 1. And Jehovah said to Moses, Go forward, go up hence, thou and thy people, whom thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, into the land which I swore to Abram, and Isaac, and Jacob, saying, I will give it to your seed. 2. And I will send at the same time my angel before thy face, and he shall cast out the Amorite and the Chetite, and the Perizzite and Gergesite, and Evite, and Jebusite, and Canaanite. 3. And I will bring thee into a land flowing with milk and honey, for I will not go up with thee, because thou art a stiff-necked people, lest I consume thee by the way. 4. And the people having heard this grievous saying, mourned in mourning apparel. 5. For Jehovah said to the children of Israel, Ye are a stiff-necked people, take heed lest I bring on you another plague, and destroy you. Now then put off your glorious apparel and your ornaments, and I will shew thee what I will do to thee. 6. So the sons of Israel took off their ornaments and their array at the mount of Choreb. 7. And Moses took his tabernacle and pitched it without the camp, at a distance from the camp, and it was called the tabernacle of testimony. And it came to pass that every one that sought Jehovah went forth to the tabernacle which was without the camp. 8. And whenever Moses went into the tabernacle without the camp, all the people stood every one watching by the doors of his tent, and when Moses departed, they took notice until he entered into the tabernacle. 9. And when Moses entered into the tabernacle, the pillar of the cloud descended, and stood at the door of the tabernacle, and Elohim talked to Moses. 10. And all the people saw the pillar of the cloud standing by the door of the tabernacle, and all the people stood and worshipped every one at the door of his tent. 11. And Jehovah spoke to Moses face to face, as if one should speak to his friend, and he retired into the camp. But his servant Joshua the son of Nun, a young man, departed not forth from the tabernacle. 12. And Moses said to Jehovah, Lo, thou sayest to me, let on this people, but thou hast not shewed me whom thou wilt send with me, but thou hast said to me, I know thee above all, and thou hast favor with me. 13. If then I have found favor in thy sight, reveal thyself to me, that I may evidently see thee, that I may find favor in thy sight, and that I may know that this great nation is thy people. 14. And he says, I myself will go before thee, and give thee rest. 15. And he says to him, If thou go not up with us thyself, bring me not up hence. 16. And how shall it be surely known, that both I and this people have found favor with thee, except only if thou go with us? So both I and thy people shall be glorified beyond all the nations, as many as are upon the earth. 17. And Jehovah said to Moses, I will also do for thee this thing, which thou hast spoken, for thou hast found grace before me, and I know thee above all. 18. And Moses says, Manifest thyself to me. 19. And Elohim said, I will pass by before thee with my glory, and I will call by my name, Jehovah, before thee, and I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and will have pity on whom I will have pity. 20. And Elohim said, Thou shalt not be able to see my face, for no man shall see my face, and live. 21. And Jehovah said, Behold, there is a place by me. Thou shalt stand upon the rock. 22. And when my glory shall pass by, then I will put thee into a hole of the rock, and I will cover thee over with my hand, until I shall have passed by. 23. And I will remove my hand, and then shalt thou see my back parts, but my face shall not appear to thee.
Nehemiah 2, Septuagint. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Arthasatha, that the wine was before me, and I took the wine and gave it to the king, and there was not another before him. And the king said to me, Why is thy countenance sad, and dost thou not control thyself? And now this is nothing but sorrow of heart. And then I was very much alarmed. And I said to the king, Let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be said? For as much as the city, even the home of the sepulchres of my father, has been laid waste, and her gates have been devoured with fire? And the king said to me, Well, what dost thou ask thus? So I prayed to Elohim of heaven. And I said to the king, It seems good to the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, I ask that thou wouldest send him to Judah, to the city of the sepulchres of my fathers. Then I will rebuild it. And the king and his concubine sat next to him, and said to me, For how long will thy journey be, and wilt thou return? And the proposal was pleasing before the king, and he sent me away, and I appointed him a time. And I said to the king, It seemed good to the king. Let him give me letters to the governors beyond the river, so as to forward me till I come to Judah. And a letter to Asaph, the keeper of the guard, which belongs to the king, that he may give me timber to cover the gates, and for the wall of the city, and for the house into which I shall enter. And the king gave to me, according to the good hand of Elohim that was upon me. And I came to the governors beyond the river, and I gave them the king's letters. Now the king has sent with me captains of the army and the horsemen. And Sanballat, the Ammonite, heard it, and Tobiah the servant of the Ammonite. And it was grievous to them that a man would come to seek the good of the children of Israel. So I came to Jerusalem, and there was 3 days. I rose up by night. I had a few men with me. I told no man what Elohim had put in my heart to do with Israel. And there was no beast with me, except the beast which I rode upon. And I went forth by the gate of the valley by night, and by the mouth of the well of the fig trees, and to the dung gate. And I mourned over the wall of Jerusalem which they were destroying, and her gates were devoured with fire. And I passed on to the fountain gate, and the king's pool, and there was no room for the beast to pass under me. And I went up by the wall of the brook by night, and mourned over the wall, and passed through the gate of the valley, and returned. And the sentinels knew not why I went, nor what I was doing, and until that time I told it not to the Jews, nor to the priests, or to the nobles, or to the captains, or to the rest of the men who wrought the works. Then I said to them, You see this evil in which we are, how Jerusalem is desolate, and her gates have been set on fire? Come, let us build throughout the wall of Jerusalem, and we shall no longer be a reproach. And I told them of the hand of Elohim that was good upon me, and also the words of the king which he had spoke to me. And I said, Let us arise and build. And their hands were strengthened for the good work. And Sanballat the Aronite, and Tobiah the servant of the Ammonite, and Gesam the Arabian, heard it, and they laughed us to scorn, and came to us and said, What is this thing that you're doing? You are revolting against the king? And then I answered them and said to them, Elohim of heaven, he has prospered us, and we, his servants, are pure, and we will build, but ye have no part, no right, nor memorial in Jerusalem.
Proverbs 27. 1. Boast not of tomorrow, for thou knowest not what the next day shall bring forth. 2. Let thy neighbor, and not thine own mouth, praise thee, a stranger, and not thine own lips. 3. A stone is heavy, and sand cumbersome, but a fool's wrath is heavier than both. 4. Wrath is merciless, and anger sharp, but envy can bear nothing. 5. Open reproofs are better than secret love. 6. The wounds of a friend are more to be trusted than the spontaneous kisses of an enemy. 7. A full soul scorns honeycombs, but to a hungry soul even bitter things appear sweet. 8. As when a bird flies down from its own nest, so a man is brought into bondage whenever he estranges himself from his own place. 9. The heart delights in ointments and wines and perfumes, but the soul is broken by calamities. 10. Thine own friend, and thy father's friend, forsake not, and when thou art in distress go not into thy brother's house. Better is a friend that is near than a brother living far off. 11. Son, be wise, that thy heart may rejoice, and remove thou from thyself reproachful words. 12. A wise man, when evils are approaching, hides himself, but fools pass on, and will be punished. 13. Take away the man's garment, for a scorner has passed by, whoever lays waste another's goods. 14. Whosoever shall bless a friend in the morning with a loud voice, shall seem to differ nothing from one who curses him. 15. On a stormy day drops of rain drive a man out of his house, so also does a railing woman drive a man out of his own house. 16. The north wind is sharp, but it is called by name propitious. 17. Iron sharpens iron, and a man sharpens his friend's countenance. 18. He that plants a fig tree shall eat the fruits of it, so he that waits on his own master shall be honored. 19. As faces are not like other faces, so neither are the thoughts of men. 20. Hell and destruction are not filled, so also are the eyes of men insatiable. He that fixes his eye is an abomination to Jehovah, and the uninstructed do not restrain their tongue. 21. Fire is the trial for silver and gold, and a man is tried by the mouth of them that praise him. The heart of the transgressor seeks after mischiefs, but an upright heart seeks knowledge. 22. Though thou scourge a fool, disgracing him in the midst of the council, thou wilt still in no wise remove his folly from him. 23. Do thou thoroughly know the number of thy flock, and pay attention to thine herds. 24. For a man has not strength and power forever, neither does he transmit it from generation to generation. 25. Take care of the herbage in the field, and thou shalt cut grass, and gather the mountain hay. 26. That thou mayest have wool of sheep for clothing. Pay attention to the land, that thou mayest have lambs. 27. My son, thou hast from me words very useful for thy life, and for the life of thy servants. Proverbs 28. 1. The ungodly man flees when no one pursues, but the righteous is confident as a lion. 2. By reason of the sins of ungodly men quarrels arise, but a wise man will quell them. 3. A bold man oppresses the poor by ungodly deeds, as an impetuous and profitable rein. 4. So they that forsake the law praise ungodliness, but they that love the law fortify themselves with a wall. 5. Evil men will not understand judgment, but they that seek Jehovah will understand everything. 6. A poor man walking in truth is better than a rich liar. 7. A wise son keeps the law, but he that keeps up debauchery dishonors his father. 8. He that increases his wealth by usuries and unjust gains gathers it for him that pities the poor. 9. He that turns away his ear from hearing the law, even he has made his prayer abominable. 10. He that causes upright men to err in an evil way, himself shall fall into destruction. Transgressor also shall pass by prosperity, but shall not enter into it. 11. A rich man is wise in his own conceit, but an intelligent poor man will condemn him. 12. By reason of the help of righteous men great glory arises, but in the places of the ungodly men are caught. 13. He that covers his own ungodliness shall not prosper, but he that blames himself shall be loved. 14. Blessed is the man who religiously fears always, but the heart of heart shall fall into mischiefs. 15. A hungry lion and a thirsty wolf is he, who, being poor, rules over a poor nation. 16. A king in need of revenues is a great oppressor, but he that hates injustice shall live a long time. 17. He that becomes surety for a man charged with murder shall be in exile, and not in safety. Chasten thy son, and he shall love thee, and give honor to thy soul, he shall not obey a sinful nation. 18. He that walks justly is assisted, but he that walks in crooked ways shall be entangled therein. 19. He that tills his own land shall be satisfied with bread, but he that follows idleness shall have plenty of poverty. 20. A man worthy of credit shall be much blessed, but the wicked shall not be unpunished. 21. He that reverences not the persons of the just is not good, such a one will sell a man for a morsel of bread. 22. An envious man makes haste to be rich, and knows not that the merciful man will have the mastery over him. 23. He that reproves a man's ways shall have more favor than he that flatters with the tongue. 24. He that casts off father or mother, and thinks he sins not, the same is partaker with an ungodly man. 25. An unbelieving man judges rashly, but he that trusts in Jehovah will act carefully. 26. He that trusts to a bold heart, such an one is a fool, but he that walks in wisdom shall be safe. 27. He that gives to the poor shall not be in want, but he that turns away his eye from him shall be in great distress. 28. In the places of ungodly men the righteous mourn, but in their destruction the righteous shall be multiplied.